Making a movie about legendary jazz singer Billie Holiday is admittedly not an easy task. Holiday lived a hectic and complicated life, and even much of her own autobiography, the 1956 memoir Lady Sings the Blues, is considered historically dubious. Writing for the National Post in 2005, journalist Robert Fulford went so far as to say, "There will never be an authoritative life of Billie Holiday. The documents don't exist, and the witnesses have often lied." He also wrote that Billie's addictions to alcohol and heroin affected how she remembered events in her own life, that she, quote, would tell the same story several ways. So director Lee Daniels can be forgiven for what critics are calling misrepresentations, omissions, and outright falsehoods in his new film The United States vs. Billie Holiday, which premiered on Hulu on February 26th. Up to a point, at least. Like any filmmaker focusing on the tumultuous life of a famous musician, Daniels focused heavily on certain aspects of the singer's life while ignoring others, dramatized and took liberties with certain events, and unfortunately fell into some tired traps of the musician biopic. The film focuses on Holiday's 1939 song Strange Fruit, which comments on the entrenched violence perpetrated on Black Americans in the South during the Jim Crow era. The song was written by Abby Mirapool, a Jewish activist and member of the American Communist Party. While Daniels told The Hollywood Reporter that Holiday was a trailblazer of civil rights, prompting the magazine to call her a pioneer of the movement, he admitted that Holiday did not consider herself such. Daniels said, "She didn't see herself as an activist, she was just doing the right thing." However, his movie clearly frames her as an activist making a statement.
It's a song about important things, things that are going on in the country. I don't think people know I care about those things.
In a scene that definitely adds drama to the film, Holiday is dragged off stage at Carnegie Hall after singing the first lines of Strange Fruit when she was explicitly told not to. But what the film doesn't tell you is that she was never dragged off stage. The Carnegie Hall website has the song on her set list for that night in 1948. Writing for the Syncopated Times, jazz writer Steve Provisor knocked the film for its portrayal of Holiday as having kicked off the civil rights movement in the 1940s, when it clearly began decades earlier. He noted how she told off her trumpeter for trying to get her interested in politics, and even went so far as to say that he had never been able to find examples of Holiday being harassed for singing Strange Fruit. Although Daniels claims the movie is not a biopic about Holiday, but rather a look at a particular moment in the singer's life, some critics complain that the film falls directly into the usual pitfalls of a cliché biopic. Matt Zoller's Sites of Robert Ebert Movie Reviews was merciless in his critique of the film, claiming it, quote, wallows in cruelty, misery, and degradation without providing insight into the historical personages who were so thoughtfully depicted by the cast. Meanwhile, Provisor noted how jazz fans can tell that the music being played by the pioneering saxophonist Lester Young in the film sounds nothing like the real musician's music. He also called out the use of smoothed-out and over-orchestrated instrumental backgrounds, saying that Holiday would have found them tragically unhip. By falling into these traps, the filmmakers failed to tell you what's most important about a movie like this: the truth. Since the film focuses so much on Billie Holiday's drug use, it makes sense that we would see her in her final days. However, the filmmakers missed a chance to include an important part of her life, as well as a chance to add another star to the cast of characters. Holiday was close friends with crooner Frank Sinatra, who credited Holiday with helping him find his voice. According to a 2003 memoir written by Sinatra's chauffeur, Sinatra visited Holiday several times on her deathbed, and although he personally detested drugs, he tried to sneak heroin to her in the hospital during her final days to ease her suffering. Check out one of our newest videos right here. Plus, even more grunge videos about your favorite musicians are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.